So, if you're wondering if last night actually happened, I'm here to let you know you aren't dreaming. Once again, you aren't dreaming. That did happen. The Knicks did manage to win game 4 of the NBA Finals. They are now up in the series 3-1. And if you did not know what I'm talking about, the Knicks managed to overcome a 29-point deficit to win this finals game. And hold on, there's something that is missing. Hold on, let's get this right real quick. Hold on, really quick change. There we go. Now that's a little better. Okay. To describe this game last night, I had to bring back Shiesty Chill because the Knicks didn't win the game last night. No. They didn't win. They didn't what's the word I would use? They didn't roll to a win. Okay. They didn't find a way to win. No. They simply robbed this game from the Spurs. The Spurs had the win in their hands, and the Knicks just straight up robbed it. The Knicks straight up said, hey, give it up. Give me everything. Pause on that, but give me everything. Break it off. Hey, give me everything. Give me the win. Give me the jerseys. Give me the shoes. Give me the plays. Give me the playbook. Give me the tickets. Give me the Gatorade. Give me the popcorn. They said, give me everything. And the Spurs happily cooperated. That's what happened. That's simply what happened. I am not joking at all with you. 29-point comeback. The largest comeback in NBA Finals history. The Knicks simply robbed this game from the Spurs. And I don't mean that as far as a bad thing towards the Knicks. No. I mean they simply told the Spurs, give me the game. And the Spurs said, there you go. They gave it up. Pause. That's what happened. Last night was ridiculous. It was one of the most craziest games that I think I've ever witnessed. Not only because it was the largest comeback in NBA Finals history. That automatically made it an amazing game, and anyone that had a chance to watch it, we just watched something legendary that I don't think, at least for a long time, will be ever topped. Now, it might be topped later on down the line. Maybe I give it maybe like 10 years, maybe, or who knows, maybe next year. But in my opinion, it's going to take a while for a team down 29 points, and they would have to be down 30 to break the record. Being down 30 points and being able to come back in an NBA Finals game, I don't see that happening anytime soon. So I'm super excited for the fact that we all had a chance to witness something legendary last night. As far as that, we got to witness, even though we didn't know it at the time, we got to see history be made. Now, getting into the this game, okay, getting into this game, getting into what happened last night, standing 10 toes down on what I just said. The Spurs simply gave the Spurs let the Knicks just rob the game from them. That's what happened. It's that simple. The Spurs were, I'm talking about, rolling. During the early parts of this game, they was rolling. The Spurs looked unstoppable for the most part. I'm going to be straight up honest with you guys. When it was a point of this game, and I don't know if this was when they were down 29. I don't quite remember like what was the score, but it was around maybe right before the game went to half. And the Knicks were trying to do some stuff. You know, they were trying to fight back. They were trying to get back into the game. But the Spurs were just cruising. They were just kind of just cruising. Like, you know, the Knicks will try to hit a three, and, you know, they might get maybe 2 threes in a row to go. And then the Spurs come right back. They get like a little 3 to go, plus a little layup. Plus they get a steal, fast break, get another layup. And it just looked like they were just cruising. It looked like, just being completely honest with you guys, it looked like the Spurs went into this game 4 and just were going to cruise to the win. I'm so serious with you guys. If you did not see it, go back and watch that game 4 from last night. It looked like the Spurs were just going to cruise to a win and go back to Texas, and whatever happens, it'll be 2-2, and we'll see what happens on Saturday. That's what it really seemed like was going to happen. Until I say like midway point of the third quarter, that's when you started to kind of, you didn't start to get like on edge because the Spurs lead, I believe, was still like 15. Like at that point, it was still 15. It was staggering between and 15 and I think like 15 and 17 or something like that. Like the Spurs lead kept staggering between there for like 15 and 17. The Knicks will cut it down to 15, and then the Spurs will come back and get a shot to go, and they go back up. And so it just kind of was like that. Then it'll go back to 20, and then the Knicks will try to put their foot on the gas a little bit, but then the Spurs will get like a couple shots to go, so they kind of dwell the momentum a little bit. So it was just like it was a back and forth momentum game. But if you would have looked at the score, you would have thought, oh, the Spurs got this in the bag. By all means, you would have thought, oh, the Spurs, they're going to cruise to a win. They got this one in the bag. Just keep playing the game that they're playing. And it's no logical way that if they keep playing like this, it's no way that the Knicks can be able to come back from this deficit. They'll keep it at 15. Maybe they'll get it down to 10, but that's probably as furthest as it'll get. Until that was the thought until I say maybe like the 7-minute mark of the fourth quarter. And not only myself, but myself and my family all said the same thing as we were watching the game. We all said the same thing. When it hit that 7-minute mark and the Spurs were just kind of there, like the Spurs were obviously playing an NBA game, but they kind of reached that point to where the Spurs were just kind of dwelling on just not scoring. Like they go down, they get a rebound, they try to go shoot a three, it brick, Knicks get the rebound. Okay, but it wasn't like this. So the Spurs would get a shot and it would miss, but the Knicks weren't like cashing everything. So the Spurs will get a rebound, they miss a shot, the Knicks go down, they try to shoot a three, it bricks. But the Spurs try to go get a three to go, it bricks. So the Knicks go down, get a layup. It was like chipping at the lead. What have I been saying these past, other than game 3, because they didn't do this in game 3. Other than game 3, what have I said this entire series that I feel like the Spurs have to improve on? Stop relying on Wemby every single possession down the stretch. Stop relying on him every single possession down the stretch. You are a NBA player too. Be confident enough to take the shot. And around that 7-minute mark, that's when it kicked in. I don't know if that's when the Spurs got nervous or what, but that's when it kicked in. That's when all of a sudden Wemby would make a good defensive play, right? He'd make a good block or a good, some rebound or whatever, a steal, something he would do. Okay, he'd get like a nice defensive possession or a nice defensive run, right? And the Spurs would get the rebound, and they would run down court. They run with all acceleration down court, right? Okay, they run down court, and instead of actually looking for a shot to take and looking for a nice shot that's in the flow of the game, that can stop the Knicks' momentum, because the Knicks are at home. So if the Knicks start to get anything going, that place is going to go crazy. You know that. So instead of trying to get a in the flow of the game shot or trying to make something happen, down the stretch, they get down the court full acceleration, and then they stop. And what are they stopping for? They're trying to wait for Wemby to get back down the court so they can give the basketball to Wemby and figure out what Wemby wants to do. Dog, you are an NBA player too. You are NBA players that are in the NBA Finals. Wemby did not make it there alone. I hate to state the obvious, but it's true. He did not make it there. On the poster, it did not say Wemby versus the New York Knicks. It said the Spurs versus the Knicks. So that means the whole entire Spurs team is in the NBA Finals. Now, I'm not going to say it didn't have a huge part to do with Wemby. That's obvious. But all of you are NBA players. So stop hesitating to take shots. Stop hesitating to make things happen. I give props to De'Aaron Fox on down the stretch of the game because I've been, kind of wanting him to take more opportunities to, to make shots and actually help Wemby out. Down the stretch of the game, he actually did that. Down the stretch of the game, he came down, hit a three, which they needed. Then after that, after hitting the three, he came down, hit a nice mid-range shot. They needed that. So he actually started coming down the court and actually taking shots confidently. But after a couple shots, he stopped doing it. Like, listen, if you miss a shot, it's okay. Like, it's fine. The Knicks miss shots too. It happens. But down the stretch of the game, you just got that intuition. You just knew something was not right. You just knew it. And down the stretch of the game, when the Spurs started hesitating like they've been doing, they started hesitating, waiting for Wemby to kind of decide what they're going to do. And after that, the next thing you know, the Knicks made a couple shots. And when I started to get on edge, like when I started to think like, oh snap, maybe the Knicks can do this. I believe when they first cut it to I think maybe 10. I think they cut it to maybe 10. Or maybe it might have been like 10 or 5. It was one of them. I think it was 10 though. When they cut it to 10, I think the Spurs called a timeout. And in my head, I was thinking, good timeout. But I wonder, are the Knicks like on now? Like, I wonder, are the Knicks like in that mode now to where they're not gonna stop pushing? And they came out of the timeout, and that's exactly what happened. They did not stop pushing. Good timeout. Good timeout by the Spurs, trying to slow down the game. But out of that timeout, the Knicks did not play no games. Karl-Anthony Towns made a fade to the corner, throw up desperation three, which he's capable of making. So he made the shot. So that kind of sparked something. Then after that, Captain Clutch gonna do his thing. So then Brunson started doing his little mid-range pull-ups, cash. Then all of a sudden, Jose Alvarado started making threes. I'm like, now the Knicks are on. Now you're in trouble because the Knicks are on now. They're at home. They got the momentum. They feeling the charge. They just came back 29 down to make it like a 3-point game. So it's like, at that point, they're on now. And when I absolutely knew the Spurs were in trouble, when the Knicks first cut it to like a 4-point game, I believe it was a 4-point game. And I just was looking at the Spurs, like, you know how you look at a team's energy. And I was looking at the Spurs, like, walking up the court. And you know how you can tell when a team, like, no team is like, man, we're just going to give up. No team is like that. But you know how you can tell when a team is kind of like in their head a little bit. I got that vibe from the Spurs. Like, it wasn't a thing of like, oh, man, like, man, we don't let it. It wasn't like that. It wasn't that bad. But it was like, they walked up the court, and in their heads, you can tell they were thinking like, "Oh snap, they right there! Like we gotta make something happen. They right there." And when you put that pressure on, like, "Oh snap, they on their way. We gotta make something happen." It puts extra unnecessary pressure on you than just playing the game. If you're just in the flow of the game, that pressure doesn't happen with that. You just have to make something happen, and you just gotta make some crazy stuff happen. But when they got to 4. When they got into a 4-point game, that pressure started to get to them. And all the Knicks needed, was just a missed shot, and they got it. They got that missed shot, and the Knicks were on from there. Brunson hit a 3, and after that, they almost gave away the lead earlier, but Josh Hart stole the pass, and I'm thinking, if they make this layup, the Knicks probably got the game. But the Spurs get a second chance by the basketball gods. The basketball gods gave you a second chance. Josh Hart wide open, clear path to the rim. Nobody's in front of him. Josh Hart with the defender behind him, so you know he kind of got that in the back of his mind. So he's going up to do like a I think he was trying to dunk it, but he didn't get the basketball like how he wanted it. So I think he tried to dunk it but couldn't quite finish it. So he goes up and he tries to dunk it, but it hits the back of the rim, bounces out. The Spurs get the rebound, and I'm thinking if there is any possible chance for the Spurs to rehab this game and to actually get this win, you have to go score right here. And it's almost like as I was thinking that, the Spurs tried a shot, they missed it. I was like, oh, snap. As soon as they missed that shot, I was like, oh, snap. The Knicks, because now the Knicks, like on the Josh Hart steal, Josh Hart is kind of rushed. Like he stole the pass, and he's kind of rushed going down the court because he knows he has a defender behind him. So now, me personally, I'm not on the court, so I don't know. Me personally, if I was Josh Hart, or my advice to Josh Hart, I think he had room to do like the D'Angelo Russell thing. Like I think he had room, and obviously I don't know. I'm not no NBA player, but I think he had enough room, and De'Aaron Fox was sagging off enough to where he could have did like the D'Angelo Russell thing, like where you pump fake, turn around, layup. I feel like he could have, if he just would have stopped, the defender would have kept running out of bounds because he had so much momentum already. So I think he had room to just stop, and the defender would have either bumped his hand on the rim for trying to block it or just fade out of bounds. So I feel like he would have had room to do that, but I get it. It's the heat of the moment. You're trying to hurry up and get the shot. Plus, this is the shot to give you guys the lead. So I think like the third lead of the game the Knicks would have had, I think. Like, or maybe it might have been even the second one because the Spurs took off from the jump. I don't even know. But I get it. The pressure was on, so he kind of rushed the shot and it caused them to miss. But after that, it was just the Knicks game to lose, pretty much. That's what it felt like. It felt like the Knicks game to lose. The Knicks get the ball back, and Brunson goes down, Captain Clutch. You already know what it is. Captain Clutch goes down, gets a shot to go. And soon as the Knicks took the lead, in my head, I was just thinking, this is the time where you use a timeout. That's where you use a timeout. Like, okay, settle the team down. Use a timeout. Okay, they just took the lead. Relax. Let's find something to do. But when the Spurs gave up the lead and let Brunson make that, well, they didn't let him do anything. But when Brunson made that shot, Captain Clutch, I felt like the Spurs should have instantaneously been like, timeout. But they let him play on, and number one, I didn't like the look of that. I thought you really needed a timeout to settle the team down, but they let them play on. So the Spurs go down, and they get an offensive foul. And I'm like, see that? And in my head, I was just thinking, that's why you needed a timeout, right? To settle the team down, to calm them down. Because now, if they just lost the lead, so you know they like, oh, snap, we got to just settle down, relax. You got to just settle the team down. I know you don't want to use your timeouts. I get it. It's the end of the game. But you got to use that timeout right there just to calm them down and relax. But it was okay, though, because after that, offensive foul, the Knicks don't make anything happen, so it's okay. So the Spurs get like a timeout after that. All right, cool. So the Knicks got the lead coming out of the timeout. The Spurs get back on the court and get a free throw and get a set of free throws and to take the lead. And they take the lead. Shout out to excuse me. Shout out to Castle for taking the lead, by the way. Castle went up there and did his thug thizzle. He went out there and actually did his thing. And and it was just crazy because after that, Castle makes the 2 free throws, right? And it's like, okay, maybe the Knicks can somehow, make it happen. Maybe they can make something happen, right? Maybe the Knicks can somehow make it happen, and it can be great. Because Stephon Castle just made the free throws. Maybe the Spurs can. I'm sorry, I said the Knicks. Maybe the Spurs can play defense, and it could shut down anything the Knicks had going, and then they could win the game. So, so the Knicks call timeout, right? No, I'm sorry. The Spurs fouled the Knicks, actually. They fouled the Knicks, and I'm thinking in my head, if that's the bonus, like, because, you got to always keep these things in your mind as a player. Like, okay, are they in the bonus? Are they close to the bonus? You got to kind of pay attention to that. So I was thinking in my head at first, I thought it was a bonus shot. Or, like, I thought the Knicks were in the bonus. So I was thinking, why would you foul them right there? But it's okay. They weren't in the bonus. It was just a regular foul. It ended up being a side out. So the Knicks got like 5.7 seconds to make something happen. Jalen Brunson gets the pass. And he gets the pass, and understandably, because he's in rhythm, he gets the pass and he just pull up like almost like maybe a step in, maybe like a couple steps in from the logo. He steps in, shoots it. It bounces off the glass, or bounces off the rim, excuse me. And OG Anunoby free running to the rim. Nobody's guarding him. Free running to the rim. Gets the rebound, tips it in, pause, and the Knicks got the advantage, so the Spurs got to make something happen, which they didn't. They ended up inbounding the ball, and they kind of lost the ball anyway. So it was like, how they won was crazy. And the crazy part is, every category I said the Spurs needed to win, they won. Every single category. If you think I'm joking, check this out. Every single category. Everyone I said they needed to win, they won. They won rebounding. They won assists. They won turnovers. They won the 3-pointers made battle. Like, everything they needed to win, they won, except points. Because Wemby, he didn't have that many points. Wemby had, I believe, make sure I get this right. Wemby had 24 points. I'd say he needed 40 last night, which would have helped, or at least 35. But they didn't win the points battle as far as the individual players. But they won the 3-pointers made. They won the assist battle. They won the turnover battle. They won rebounding and still lost. That's what I say, man. Listen, Jalen Brunson and this New York Knicks squad, man, is so freaking dangerous. With the series being 3-1 now, it looks like it's only a matter of time. We'll see though. Game 5 is on Saturday, so I'll be all eyes and attention for that. That'll be interesting. We'll see what happens, but I will say this: shout out to OG Anunoby for coming up clutch right there, and just shout out for the New York Knicks for never mentally being out of it, because they never. And I'm talking about never stop fighting. It was so many chances for them to just be like, you know what? This game is over. This game is done. This game is like, it's cooked. Like, we down 15 in the fourth quarter. What are we doing? Like, that's some 2K stuff. You trying to come back down 15 with 7 minutes left. Like, that's some 2K stuff. And they actually pulled it off. How mentally locked in you have to be to make that happen is incredible. So shout out to the Knicks mentality, number one, for them actually still being locked in enough to make it happen. And even when the Spurs took the lead back, shout out to the Knicks for actually being able to make something else happen to get the lead and actually finish the game with the dub. So shout out to the New York Knicks on that win last night. We'll see what happens in Game 5. Can't wait. It'll either be the Knicks will be NBA champions, or we're going to a Game 6, so we'll see what happens.